sprayed it too hard and it went all the way back down my throat. Hi, welcome to the Rhinoplasty follow-up video. This is 5 months later and I'm doing my check-in and I have a lot to share with you because so many people asked me so many questions after I posted my initial video, and it got way more views than I ever could have imagined. I'm not a medical professional, I'm just a woman who had a nose job. I found it very surprising actually that after I posted my initial what it's really like to have a rhinoplasty video, a lot of people sent me messages and said, I've actually been wanting to have a rhinoplasty, but I've been too scared, or I don't really understand what the process is like, because a lot of people just show the highlight reel when they post their video diaries about it. And I'm not going to try to convince you to have a rhinoplasty. That's like a very personal decision, but I'm happy to share what my experience was actually like. Yes, my eczema went crazy after I had my rhinoplasty. For the first week, I was fine. I had a cast on, and then as soon as the cast was removed on the 5th day, pretty much from that point onward, I started to have a pretty crazy eczema flare-up, and it was centered around like my eyebrows, the top of my nose, and then also in my eye area here. And it lasted for probably 4 months. I would say it lasted for about 4 months solid. It was really annoying. I did not expect it at all, but I had an eczema flare-up. And I think the reason is that your immune system is lower after you've had surgery, and also because I couldn't really do my normal skincare routine after the surgery. And my eczema is really temperamental, but usually if I do my regular skincare routine, it keeps it pretty well under wraps. So I was really just supposed to use a very basic plain face wash, and that was it. So I pretty much went without doing my regular skincare routine for about 3 months. And on top of the restrictions on the type of skincare products I could use, my face was also extremely sensitive. So anytime I tried to wash my nose or wash my face, it really hurt. So I didn't really like to do it. The next question is about the swelling. So I think pretty much every person has a different experience with the swelling from what I've seen. I watched a lot of YouTubers' videos about their rhinoplasties before I had mine done, and some people were just out wearing makeup and doing their normal thing like a couple weeks after the surgery and looking normal, and other people like myself was like, it's really taken 5 months for my face to actually look normal. I did not look like me for the first 4 months. I looked so different because my nose swelled up, but also my entire face swelled up. My cheeks, my forehead, really everything. And I think it's just maybe different for every person. Everyone's body is unique and we all react to things in a different way. It felt very strange to see myself in the mirror every day and to know that I didn't look like me. But I just had to hold on to the hope that, eventually the swelling will go down and my look will return. As the swelling was going down, I kept thinking, okay, well, I guess this is as much as it's gonna go down. How can it go down any more than this? And then I was like, well, I guess my nose is gonna be really bulbous now. I think there were moments where I lost faith in the fact that it was gonna turn out okay. I just went for a walk, and obviously I was wearing my mask, so you can see the top of my nose, compared to the other pieces of footage I filmed for this video. The top of my nose from here to here gets really swollen anytime my mask rubs against this, and I think this is going to continue for the rest of the year. It basically, the swelling of my nose fluctuates from day to day, so for the most part it's consistently going down, but then some things aggravate it and it just all of a sudden has a worse day. It's still really fickle even 5 months later, and it doesn't feel like a block of wood anymore though. For the first 3 months I described my nose as feeling like a big block of wood in the center of my face. And also there was a garbage smell. It's really disgusting. The only way that I can think to describe it is that it's a used Band-Aid covering a wound mixed with garbage. It's really disgusting, constant, but it only lasted for maybe 2 or 3 days. So I think it came on a Friday night, and then by the Monday it was totally gone. And when it was gone, it was like totally gone. So it's something that I was like monitoring really closely, and if it hadn't gone away on that Monday, I definitely would have called my surgeon. In terms of downtime, like when I say that I was taking downtime during the lockdown, I mean that I literally was like horizontal on a wedge for pretty much all of the winter. Like, because if you look at the swelling that's happening, this is after 5 months. I still swell up after going for a walk. I can't even describe to you how much I swelled up after a walk at like 2 months or 3 months. Like, it was still a lot of swelling. Okay, in terms of the feeling after the surgery, so everything is pretty numb. For me, it wasn't just my nose that was numb, it was also this whole surrounding area, as well as my lip, and then also behind my teeth, because I was intubated, which means that they put a breathing tube down my throat in order to allow me to breathe during surgery. After the surgery, it took a while for all of the feeling to return to normal. The thing that was most uncomfortable for me, I think at first, was the mark left by the intubator, by the breathing machine. I don't actually know what it's called. It just felt kind of painful back there because it clipped into my teeth. So it was an uncomfortable feeling, and I also had to retrain my breathing a little bit because my breathing was like really fast and shallow. And so it just took a couple weeks of doing regular breathing exercises, which I happened to do anyways, and then eventually my breathing went back to normal. That was kind of a weird feeling. I also showed in my other video that my eyes felt really messed up after the surgery. I actually couldn't like focus on anything, and it felt like I was just blurry all the time for the first few days. And that was because they put an antibacterial coating on my face and eyes to prevent me from getting any infections after the surgery. So basically I just had to wait for that substance, whatever it was, to just be teared out. Actually, wearing the mask was fortuitous because when my nose is really numb, there were times when I could literally have like stuff coming out of my nose and I wouldn't even know. I could not stand the feeling of makeup on my face, oh my god, for months. Well, if you watched my video about the video diary about getting it done, I'd wanted to do this for so many years. So by the time the surgery day came around, I wasn't really like nervous. I was more like excited nervous, and I just wanted to get it over with and get it behind me. So I would say I was pretty confident going into it, and I was really confident in my decision and in the surgeon that I had selected. I didn't really set any expectations for myself as to exactly what I thought my face would look like after, and that was something that the plastic surgeon told me, you know, have an open mind because it's really hard to predict exactly what everyone's face is going to look like after plastic surgery. They do give you a rendering, but it's so hard to see a digital rendering of yourself and imagine that actually physically on your person. It's really difficult to imagine. So I just decided not to create any expectations, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go for this, and I trust the plastic surgeon that I have hired, and I'm gonna be open to whatever happens. And I'm really happy with the results. Like, my nose was super broken before. It was really broken to the point that when they did the surgery, they actually had to like crush up some of my bone, rebuild things, and also put an implant in. So I have a fake nose, FYI. But that'll just tell you like how much change happened. My profile is entirely different, and you know, it's a really big change to get used to. Not only do I have comfort in my face, but I have comfort in breathing from both nostrils. I cannot tell you how novel that feeling is. To be able to take a breath in and out through both nostrils is, you know, it's a really great feeling. I haven't done that since I was probably 14 or 15 years old. Sometimes, you know, all noses get stuffy from time to time. And now if I have a stuffy nose and maybe one of my nostrils is blocked, I'm like, oh my god, I can't breathe. And then I'm like, wait, I breathed like that. That was how I breathed for like 15 years. One of the things that I wanted to feel more comfortable in afterwards was the balance of my face. I didn't really know how to describe it at the time, but I always felt like my face was just super off balance. And that actually led me into doing some research about mouth breathing and how it can actually impact your health. and the benefits of being able to breathe through your nose. And because I'm not a doctor, I'm not going to go into those things in this video, but it is some really interesting research. At times when I felt less confident in it, had to do more with when I saw plastic surgeons who didn't fully understand what I wanted from this. Not every plastic surgeon is the same. Every plastic surgeon is a different individual human being. So their ideas of what looks good, of what's appropriate for you could be totally different. And I think that's why visiting and going for consultations with different plastic surgeons was a very important part of the research process for me, because I met with several plastic surgeons who I didn't trust to do my nose job, quite frankly. There was one plastic surgeon that I went to who really didn't listen to anything I had to say, and he just wanted to give me like the uncanny valley Instagram face. And that's not what I wanted. And I didn't want to come out of it feeling like someone else. And if you read reviews on like Real Self or Rate My MD, which I did a lot of before I picked my plastic surgeon, you know, people can actually have really bad experiences with plastic surgeons who don't understand what they want. And it can totally affect your mental health, because you can come out of it looking like a different person. You can come out of it still not seeing yourself. By no means did I go into the appointment with a picture of myself on a filter and say, I want to look like that. You're not going to look like a filtered version of yourself. Like, you're always going to look like you. Ultimately, this is, you know, flesh and bone that is being altered. It's not some, you know, it's not being printed on a 3D printer, right? Like, you can't just create exactly what you see on Instagram. In regards to, do I regret it? Absolutely not. This was the correct decision for me. That doesn't mean that it's the correct decision for everyone. And also keep in mind, every person's rhinoplasty is different. That's something that after I shared this video, a lot of people asked me about, because I think that a lot of people think that all rhinoplasties are kind of the same procedure, but they're really not. For example, I had a septoplasty and a turbinate reduction, and I had like really a lot of work done, but there are so many different kinds of rhinoplasty, so it's impossible to say that every person's experience or even that every person's surgery or their procedure would be exactly the same. I am not addicted to plastic surgery now. I know some people think that getting plastic surgery is like the same as getting a tattoo or getting a piercing or whatever, but it's, for me anyways, it's not like that. I don't desire any other plastic surgeries. For me, like, I like what I look like, I like who I am, like, I don't really have any desire to do anything else, really. That's all I can really tell you right now. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video and for joining me on this journey. Be sure to watch my What It's Really Like to Have a Rhinoplasty video, which I will link in this video. And I hope I've answered all your questions, possibly even more. And if you would like to add any commentary to this or ask another question, please feel free to drop a comment down below and subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you so much. Bye.